Hello, Janice.
Hi, Anthony.
Today, let's talk about why not to save for retirement. So, do you want to know if maybe the reasons that you're not saving for retirement or not saving enough, are these good enough reasons? We're going to talk.
Absolutely. Let's
we're
see.
gonna- let's talk about the four reasons why folks generally don't save enough for retirement and the pros and cons of each of those reasons. And at the end, both Janice and I will share what we think, which one of these are legit and which one of these you should stop rationalizing for yourself.
It's be interesting.
All right. So number one, Social Security, right? I mean, there's a whole government program that'll take care of me when I'm old. I'll be fine. Social Security will be enough. So,
You can see my face, right? I'm trying not to
so
any
okay. First,
opinions, but
some background information. The maximum benefit that you can get, at least as of this year, is $2,800 per month. Okay, that's a lot of money, but that's also
absolutely.
but that's super rare. Almost nobody qualifies for that max benefit.
Right.
The average benefit per month is closer to $1,460 per month. That's more typical.
Yeah.
Okay, so Janice, what are some of the pros of relying on Social Security for retirement?
I mean, it's there. It's there. It's a government program. You're expecting it. You might be able to live. I'm trying for the pros here. It's possible. There we go. It's possible.
So it probably works if either you own your own home with low maintenance or you're in some sort of public housing. I know there's things like that in the New York area. You're probably on food stamps or some kind of food assistance because, there's just not a lot of money there.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, it's possible. It's totally possible.
Sure. Absolutely.
If it's more important for you to live in the moment and not save for later, and you're okay with that lifestyle we would describe later, yeah, it works.
Sure. Okay. Try it.
And the big drawback, I mean, to me, that doesn't sound terribly comfortable, especially in my old age and retirement. But that's me. I don't know. How about you?
It does sound a little bit scary. Just when you start adding up what life costs in a month, even if your house is paid off or you don't have any rent, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
So it does seem a little, yeah.
All right. Okay. Now moving along, the second reason folks don't save enough or tell themselves it's okay to not save enough is because they're saving for other things. They have other priorities. Okay. So for example, I heard that I should have a 6 months worth of expenses as a rainy day fund, so I should do that first. Or, the children of the future. So saving for my kids' college is more important or of higher priority at least than saving for my retirement. So those are some of the things people tell themselves, yeah?
Right, absolutely.
So why don't you do the pros, Janice? What are some of the pros of that approach?
Yeah. A pro to that is that at least you're saving something, somewhere of some sort. So it's something.
Sure, something's better than nothing, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
So the big drawback of that approach is that you're wasting the power of compounding. We've talked about this before, but the really good example, I think, is that there's two ways to save $1 million, okay, by the time you turn 60 years old. The first way is you start when you're 18, put in your max IRA contributions of $5,500 a month, and in 12 years, when you're 30 years old, you can stop and never save again, right? And as long as you don't touch that money that you've put in, which is about $65,000, by the time you turn 60, you'll have $1.1 million waiting for you.
Wow.
Okay. The alternative.
Where were you when we were 18 and
I know, right?
We should have started this? This is not what I was thinking at 18 years old, but.
So that's the power of compounding, right? If you start just a few years later, when you're 25 years old, which still feels super young, right?
Right.
But if you start at 25 as opposed to 18, you have to put that same $5,500 in per year for the next 35 years until the day you retire. And
yes.
Even then, you're still a little behind. You're going to have just about a tick over $1 million when you turn 60, right?
That's astounding.
Yeah. So those 7 years makes like just this world of difference. And by the way, instead of putting in a total amount of $66,000 during your lifetime, you will have put in $192,000 to get to the same amount of money, actually a little less by the time you're 60 years old.
Wow.
So that's my little sort of story to explain or demonstrate the power of compounding. So yeah, start early, basically. All right. The number three reason why folks, just don't need to save for retirement. I'm investing in myself. I'd rather use that money to invest in myself. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to invent something. That's where I'm putting my money.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, Janice, what are some of the
Sure.
pros of that approach?
Well, I mean, again, I go back to the one that we said earlier. At least you're investing somewhere,
Yep.
right? I mean, it sounds like a gamble because what if your idea or your big invention doesn't work? I know that's a con, but you know what? At least you're saving somewhere. I go back to that. At least you're
Sure.
trying. You're trying. A for
I mean,
effort.
most of the billionaires or super wealthy people in this world, they don't invest in traditional ways like the rest of us because they do take risks on themselves. And that's kind of maybe how they got there, just taking these asymmetric risks. For example, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, both of them on multiple occasions have put it all on the line, meaning they could have been nothing if it hadn't panned out, right? And maybe that's what it takes sometimes to have like these high trajectory successes. But the drawback to that approach is, are you Elon Musk?
Not even close.
Are you Steve Jobs?
No, I'm wishful thinking that the bank accounts matched, but no.
Yeah, so you got to kind of know yourself a little bit and just, is it realistic that you're going to put in the work or have the inspiration or whatever, or have the luck, right? Sometimes it's just
Right.
luck
Right.
to make it worth it, right? Or do you want to take a more measured approach? Yeah. And the last reason why some people don't save for retirement, and this one's a little bit off the wall, but let's get into it, is because in the future you won't have to save for retirement. We'll be taken care of. Okay? So,
Okay.
look, there's already talk in current politics about things like UBI. Are you familiar with UBI, Universal
I'm
Basic
not.
Income?
No.
So there's a lot of notions that forget welfare, forget social programs, just give everyone a check. Universal basic income. Everyone gets I don't know what the numbers are. Sometimes some people say 30,000, some people say 50,000. Everyone has this base income, and you can work more if you want to make more, but everyone will have base income.
Okay.
So if I'm receiving my UBI check when I'm in retirement, what was the point of me scrimping and saving, in my 30s and 40s when I could have really enjoyed
Good question.
that money?
Yeah.
Right?
If it's going to be there, then why?
And it's not just about the government giving you a check. I mean, that's certainly part of it, but just technology will make things different. You'll have robots and AI building houses, so housing can be cheaper, right? You'll have advances in lab-grown or genetically modified foods that will hopefully by then be safe, right? So that food costs will be hopefully zero or down to nothing. Advances in nuclear energy, so no more fretting about heating or air conditioning bills. If there are these advances within our lifetime, and I do have, it doesn't look impossible,
No,
Then-
definitely could happen.
then your basic costs can be pretty much covered or next to nothing by the time you're in your twilight years. So again, what did you scrimp and save for all those years? So a pro to this approach is, that's a nice way to live. To be optimistic is to see the
Very
future as
optimistic.
bright.
Right.
And
Kind
if
of
you're
fantasy-ish a little bit. I mean, you're optimistic, but, yeah.
But I mean,
I think-
the other pro is if you take this approach, right, then you'll have enjoyed your current life to the fullest, without being the ants versus the grasshopper, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then we know what happened to the grasshopper, so whatever.
Yeah. So not so much of this, more the con, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the con is, what if it's like the fable and you are the grasshopper with nothing saved up, shivering in the cold, right?
Correct. And this all could very well happen, but will it happen in our lifetime when we retire? Are we close enough to that?
That's a good question. That's the question, isn't it?
Maybe it just seems like such a gamble, but
All right, so Janice, let's dive into our takes. Which of
Okay.
these do you think are legit reasons or rationales for not going crazy saving for retirement?
so maybe I think the one that sounds a little bit like possible, Social Security.
Okay.
The negative to that is, will it be there? I mean, it's always in the news. They use this as a political ploy all the time that we may not have Social Security when it's time for us to retire. So it seems a little bit like you're putting your eggs in one basket, which happens to be the government. Will it be there? Sure, maybe, but it just, I don't know. Another thing you didn't mention that some people actually think, oh, I don't have to save for retirement, inheritance.
All right.
They're actually thinking, oh, well, I'm going to inherit money. I'm fine. I don't need to put anything aside. But is that a guarantee? Not so much.
Yeah, Yeah,
And
I think we did an
Yeah.
earlier episode where we talked about how I think a pretty large percentage of millennials are counting on an inheritance,
correct.
but their corresponding
But-
parental generation are depending on spending their savings.
Correct. We probably want to spend whatever we have.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before with college. I think could you put a link in the podcast to that podcast, because it was so interesting, because I would have originally thought, let's save for college, but then what about the parents and their retirement? And you can get student loans, but can you get a loan to retire and take care of your needs? So I don't think that that's maybe the best direction to go. Like you said, it doesn't compound. It's paying for an education. I don't think that's the greatest idea. Starting a business, I did that. But I also know that it's not my retirement. Will it be wonderful at the end? Is it giving me income now? Yes. It wasn't a risky business adventure. But I also know that it's not my retirement. Of course, I think of great inventions all the time, like washing machines that fold and put the laundry away. But
Cool.
I don't know how that would work. But I'm sure if I could figure it out, I would be not worried about retirement. But it seems a little risky to do that. And especially when the lab-grown food, we talked about that. Could it happen? Absolutely. I think it's going that direction where more things will be taken care of. But will it happen in our lifetime? I don't know. Not something I would bank not retiring on or saving for retirement, waiting for that.
Yes, I'm pretty much with you. I think I'm okay with numbers 4 and 1. Number 4 is relying on a optimistic future, and number 1, Social Security, and they're kind of one and the same, because if you have all your basic needs taken care of, housing, food, basic income, then yeah, Social Security can cover the rest. And I don't believe it so firmly that I'm just not saving at all for retirement.
Right.
But it does give me comfort where I don't need to stress so much and make sure that every penny is accounted for and put away, because I do feel like, look, 10 years ago, there was no Facebook. There was no iPhone. Look how quickly things are iterating. Maybe it was 11 years. But
How did we survive?
exactly. The world changes so quickly.
It does.
So 10 years from now, when I'm still, in very much my prime working years, who knows what artificial intelligence or virtual reality or what other next step will have occurred by then, let alone 20 or 30 years, which is closer to my target retirement. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Absolutely. And it could happen, but just in that case that it maybe doesn't, you just want to have a nice savings saved up and not have to worry about it if it doesn't work out.
All right, cool. So everyone listening, please let us know in the comments or on social what you think is a legit reason for not saving for retirement, or if you think, look, these are all bogus, why you should be saving. We want to hear from you. And otherwise, till next time, thank you for listening. Thank you, Janice. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon.
Bye now.